The unlikely encounter. Keanu Reeves was enjoying a quiet day at the movie theater, just like any other ordinary person. But this day would be different. He had his large bucket of popcorn, the kind with extra butter, sitting beside him as he leaned back in his seat. The theater was almost empty, save for a few other patrons scattered around. It was supposed to be a relaxing afternoon for Keanu, just him, a good film, and his favorite snack. But as he reached for another handful of popcorn, something unexpected happened. A small hand, not much bigger than the size of a fist, reached out and snatched a piece right from his bucket. Keanu froze for a moment, completely stunned. He looked down and saw the culprit. A little girl, no more than 2 years old, her wide eyes fixed on him. She had a mischievous grin on her face as if she had just pulled off the greatest heist in history. Keanu chuckled to himself, still in disbelief. He wasn't used to being interrupted like this, especially not by a toddler. "Hey there," he said gently, trying not to laugh. The little girl didn't say anything, but her eyes sparkled with curiosity. She reached into the bucket again, and before Keanu could react, she took another piece. This time, she looked up at him, her face full of innocence, as if to say, "This popcorn is mine now." The unexpected connection. Keanu's initial shock turned into a smile. It was hard to stay upset with a child so young, especially when she was so full of life and curiosity. Instead of taking the popcorn back, Keanu leaned forward slightly, intrigued by the little one's boldness. "You really like popcorn, huh?" he asked, his voice warm and kind. The little girl, oblivious to the movie star sitting beside her, simply nodded, chewing happily on the popcorn she had stolen. As the movie played on, Keanu found himself watching this tiny human with a mixture of amusement and affection. He couldn't help but wonder about her world. She didn't care who he was. He didn't care about fame or fortune. She just wanted popcorn. And in that moment, he realized how rare it was to find someone who could live so freely, without a care in the world. He glanced over at her parents, who were sitting a few rows ahead. They hadn't noticed the exchange between their daughter and Keanu, but Keanu noticed something in their demeanor, an obvious exhaustion. It was clear they were tired, but their eyes softened as they watched their little girl enjoy herself. Keanu felt a surge of empathy for them. Parenting was tough, he knew that, but in that moment, he understood something deeper. The joy that children bring, even in the most unexpected situations, was priceless. A change of heart. As the movie continued, Keanu found himself offering his popcorn to the little girl. "Here, you can have the rest," he said with a kind smile. The girl paused, looked at the bucket, then at him. She hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. Keanu made a playful gesture, as if he was giving it to her out of sheer generosity. With that, the little girl reached for the bucket, her tiny hands eagerly grabbing the remaining popcorn. Keanu leaned back in his seat, watching her enjoy the snack as though it was the most important thing in the world. Her parents finally turned around, noticing what had happened. The mother's face flushed slightly with embarrassment, but Keanu waved it off. "It's fine," he reassured them with a warm smile. "She's got good taste." The father chuckled, shaking his head in disbelief. "You never know who's going to steal your popcorn," he said with a grin. Keanu laughed, a genuine laugh that came from the heart. "Yeah, especially when they're this young. But it's all right. Sometimes we all need a little reminder to enjoy the simple things." His words held a deeper meaning now, something he hadn't anticipated when he entered the theater. A lesson in humility. As the movie ended and the lights came up, Keanu stood to leave, but something stopped him. The little girl, now full from the popcorn, looked up at him with wide eyes. She reached out her small hand, as if asking for something, and Keanu stopped in his tracks. Without thinking, he crouched down to her level, offering his hand. She took it, her tiny fingers wrapping around his finger with a trust that was pure and untainted by the world. Keanu's heart melted. It was a simple gesture, but one that spoke volumes. In that moment, he realized that no amount of fame or wealth could ever replace the human connections we share. The bond between him and this little girl, forged through an unexpected act of sharing, was something far more meaningful than anything he could have imagined. "Thank you for sharing your popcorn with me," he whispered, his voice gentle and filled with sincerity. The little girl smiled, her eyes sparkling. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely audible, but the meaning was clear. The ripple effect. Keanu left the theater that day with a sense of fulfillment that he hadn't expected. It wasn't the movie that had moved him, nor the popcorn incident, but the unexpected connection with a child so pure and free. He thought about how small acts of kindness, like sharing popcorn, could have a ripple effect on the world. Maybe, just maybe, that small act could inspire someone else to be kinder, to show a little more empathy. As he walked out of the theater, he found himself reflecting on his own life. He had spent so much time in the spotlight, constantly surrounded by people and expectations, but he realized that it was the simplest moments, those fleeting encounters with strangers, that had the most profound impact on him. The world was often complicated, filled with noise and distractions, but in that theater, with a 2-year-old who simply wanted to share, Keanu was reminded that life didn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's about taking a moment to connect, to be present, and to show kindness in the most unexpected ways. The power of kindness. Keanu often thought back to that day at the movie theater. It became a story he would share with friends and family, a reminder that kindness is universal, transcending age, fame, and circumstance. The little girl, with her innocent desire for popcorn, had reminded him of the importance of staying humble, of finding joy in the small things, and of never forgetting the value of genuine human connection. The truth was, the popcorn wasn't the real treasure. It was the lesson that came with it, the lesson that even the smallest gestures could make a big difference in someone's day. Keanu knew that if everyone could take a moment to share something as simple as popcorn, the world would be a much kinder place. As he continued his journey, Keanu kept that lesson close to his heart. He knew that the impact of kindness, no matter how small, could ripple through the world, touching lives in ways we might never fully understand. And that, he thought, was the real magic. Sometimes it's the little things that leave the biggest impact. Be kind, be present, and remember to share your popcorn.